Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. The Syrian story, the Syrian narrative, has the misfortune of being dominated by something that is very negative and very destructive. And that is, if you ask most people, unfortunately, to tell you what's happening in Syria, they'll say it's a messy civil war. People killing each other, don't know much about it. Or they'll tell you that it's a messy civil war that is producing two evils, the Assad regime and ISIS, Daesh. And therefore, we just don't know what to do. We have no idea if we have any options. And better just to stay away from it and out of it. What I'm here to do today is to present to you a slightly, radically different narrative. What's really going on the ground as we've seen it, as people who've been front and center in what's going on, whether it's with Mr. Ghassan Hito or other countless people that work within the Syrian Forum consortium of organizations, something that we've started over 3 years ago. What's happening in Syria is not a civil war, and it's very important for us to keep challenging that narrative. What happened in Syria 5 years ago, over 5 years ago, was a populist uprising against dictatorship, against oppression, against corruption, against a regime, a dynasty that has co-opted the future and past and present of Syrians for decades. And the narrative that we would like to put between your hands today is not of the victimized Syrians who have no other choice than Assad and ISIS, the victimized various refugees that we seem to only see the Syrian conflict through humanitarian angle. What I'm trying to tell you today is that ever since the revolution started, there has been countless Syrians, individuals, organizations, local councils that sprung into action and have been doing amazing work that not a lot of people know about. People, when they started the uprising against corruption and against oppression, they were practicing the utmost form of agency and ownership. They wanted to end the era of being ruled, and they wanted to start the era of drawing their own future. And so, in countless places within the Syrian territory, you'll see people organizing themselves through local administration councils, for example, filling the vacuum that was left by a dysfunctional state that was liberated by a lot of the Syrian rebels, and drawing a future for themselves, conducting actual governance, providing services, doing all sorts of things that you'd think that a state would do. What we do at the Syrian Forum has been to build the capacity of those people and to improve the capacity of those individuals and those organizations and those local councils. We focused on Syrian civil society, we focus on the Syrian individuals and the local councils by providing them with a suite of solutions that range from relief and development all the way to training, to giving them a voice in the media. We have a media platform called asuria.net. We have a think tank policy center that conveys the point of view of those on the ground represented through local councils to the outside world. And we have a nonprofit employment agency. One of the short stories that I will close with before I leave you with our wonderful ensemble tonight is the story of one of our institutions called Rizq. So the Syrian Forum is comprised of 6 institutions. One of them is tasked with finding jobs and connecting Syrians in the diaspora, in refugee countries, with potential employers. And so we focus our work mostly in Turkey. In the past 2 years, we placed 5,000 Syrians into 5,000 permanent jobs. If you multiply that with an average of 5 per family, we are affecting the lives of over 25,000 Syrians in Turkey. And those are people that range in terms of their jobs from chefs to day laborers to doctors to engineers to architects. If you actually do the math in terms of the minimum wage of each of these individuals, you'll see that we caused the generation of over $18 million in annual income to Syrian refugees in Turkey alone. That is just one aspect of what we do. Let me just close by thanking you so much for being here, for showing your solidarity with the Syrian cause, and by introducing, since friends are introducing friends, and thank you so much, Ahmed, for this kind introduction, a very dear friend of mine, Majid Abu Ajamiya and Rani Maali, who are with the Turath Ensemble, and who are going to talk to us just a little bit about the calligraphy that you saw outside as well today by Syrian artist Imad Mahouk, who is from Aleppo and who lives in Turkey. But without further ado, I'll let the guys from Turath take it over and start this evening. Thank you very much.